All right, so I've been making a few videos in between, getting through first stage of U.S. Open qualifying, um, and getting ready for finals, which is coming up here. It's Monday, or no, it's Wednesday, June 1st. So it's been about 3.5 weeks. I've made like 3 or 4 videos, but kind of watched them and I was like, man, they're just kind of long. I tend to ramble, so I'm just gonna summarize kind of what's happened since then. So got through the locals. Didn't know where I was going to go. I had my preferences as Olympic in San Francisco, Pronghorn in Bend, Oregon, and then Cleveland for my third. I found out from the USGA like a couple days after that I still had time to change them, so I did a little research on the courses, a little more serious. I took a look at them. Looked at Olympic Club, realized it was the not the premier course. I mean they're all good out there. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the major course. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to go there. So I looked at the golf course itself. It's pretty narrow, kind of old school country club, which is totally fine, sea level. And then I looked at my second choice, which is Pronghorn up in Bend, and I was like, man, this looks like Colorado. And then I checked the elevation, which was 3,400, and all of a sudden I started thinking, well, that would be a lot less of an adjustment from a distance standpoint, much closer to Colorado altitude. So after looking at the courses again, I switched my preferences to Pronghorn and figured I would get it. So I went ahead and booked like flights and stuff. There's an airport up in Redmond, Oregon, near Bend. It's like 30 minutes away. Bend is like inland. I didn't really know where it was. I kind of thought it was on the coast because I've been to North Bend, which is nowhere close to Bend, which makes total sense. Anyway, flights into Redmond, Oregon, there's only like 2 a day. There's not a lot of flights into Redmond, shockingly. So I booked those nonstop so I wouldn't have to change planes and stuff. I don't like changing planes with clubs if possible, because every time you change planes, there's a chance for them to get lost or get broken. That's just... so anyway, I booked nonstop flights to Redmond, just kind of guessing that I would get it. In the meantime, I had a tournament at Lakewood the week after, so I just prepped for that, played there, didn't play great. I think I was 5 over through 7 holes. It was a slow, sloppy start, but shot 74 and finished like 16th out of 65 or something like that. Following week, we had our snowstorm here, trees coming down, all that stuff. I had to reschedule a ton of lessons. I had Colorado Golf Club. I had a 36-hole two-man tournament or two-person tournament there. We played. It was freezing, windy, cold, miserable, but an awesome golf course. Played good, considering the conditions. I think my teammate and I finished like 10th or so, something like that. We didn't contend for the win, but we played pretty good. Following week, which was last week, we had junior golf started, so I've been busy at work. I think I went 5 days without hitting a ball between playing at Colorado Golf Club and this last weekend, which was Memorial Day weekend. Just kind of week got away from me, didn't have a chance to hit. In the meantime, I did do a little more research on these courses, particularly Pronghorn, and noticed that there's a lot of tee shots that require like 320. There's a lot of bottlenecks right at 330, 340, which is kind of where I would anticipate my driver landing, or not landing, but finishing at that altitude. And so, I've been on the fence for a few months about getting a different club, because my 3-wood is good, and I like it, but it's the one club in my bag that I probably have the least amount of confidence with off the tee. I tend to hit a lot of good ones and then occasionally hit one off the toe and hook it, or chunk it, top it, blade it. Just not great. So I decided to get this mini driver. Ordered it up a week and a half ago. It just came a couple days ago. And it's like going to take the place of my 3-wood. It's like a driver, but it's smaller, but it's bigger than a 3-wood. You tee it up kind of high, and it's just easy to hit. Goes about 325 in Colorado for me if I hit it good. Expected to go like 315 at Pronghorn, and we'll get into that more in a second. But I put that into play for this last tournament yesterday, which was in the rain at Harmony Club up near Fort Collins. Never played there before, playing it blind, but played pretty good actually. Shot 3 under, finished 6th out of 65. So didn't feel like I did anything special. Just kind of kept it playable and made a few birdies, got on a little hot streak kind of middle of the round, and wound up finishing okay. So that was yesterday. That was the last tournament that I'll play before leaving on this Saturday. From a logistics standpoint, leaving Saturday night, Saturday evening after teaching in the morning, and then I've got a PGA Junior League event that I have to go set off, at least get going out at Boulder Country Club. I'll probably go straight to the airport from there Saturday. Fly out Saturday. Sunday morning, I have a Sunday practice round time. Called and got one of those Sunday practice round at 12:40. So in the morning, I'll probably do a little workout, go into town, get some snacks and waters and supplies and stuff like that. Anything I didn't bring with me, and then play the practice round. Get done around 6. Have dinner and just try to relax. Go to bed early because I got a pretty big day Monday. Monday, my tee time is 8:18. There are 66 players, undetermined number of spots. I'm guessing it's either going to be 2 or 3. We'll see when we get a little closer here. I think they'll probably send out another email shortly, but I know there's 66 players. There's some players on the list that I have heard of, some PGA Tour players, Korn Ferry Tour players. Nobody like super famous that anybody might know, but definitely a good strong field. I looked at it just to see if there was anybody that I knew that might want to play a practice round with me, but I don't really know any of the people that are going. So just get paired up with whoever in the practice round. I originally booked hotel just in town since like the resort was like $1,200 a night, but they did reserve us a block. I found out after they let me know Saturday of like 4 days ago that I was for sure going to Pronghorn. So, and they do have a block of rooms there that aren't stupid expensive. So I changed my room to there so I can just stay right on the property. Tee off at 8:18 on Monday, which is kind of middle of the pack. Tee off on number 1 on the Nicklaus course. This morning, Wednesday, usually it's junior golf day, but we had terrible rain yesterday, played in the rain yesterday, and it rained all night, and it's kind of raining still this morning, kind of cold and miserable. So junior golf got canceled, so I'm taking this morning to Google Map out the course. I've got my book. I've got Google Maps up and running. I'm just looking at, satellite images, trying to figure out what tees we're playing. We're playing the tips all the way around, and they already sent us that. And then just marking off like where the wide spots are, something like this. How far I need to hit it off the tee. It's going to be it seems like every hole I need to hit it like 315 to 325, which will be, depending on the wind, either mini driver or driver. So if I get a chance to hit some balls this week, I'll be really trying to work on those clubs. Mapped out my approaches just briefly. It looks like I'll have a lot of 140 to 180 yard shots, kind of the bulk of them. So hit a bunch of 9 irons, 8 irons, 7 irons. When you're looking at a Google map thing, it's just kind of interesting. You look at it in the book, for example, and it just looks like green stuff. It's like that, right? Then you look at the actual hole, and it might be like surrounded by native. Let me just turn this around here. So just trying to mark like this, right? Like in the book, this is all just green, but like I'm trying to mark all this native stuff because I anticipate a few kind of blindish shots. Nothing too crazy. I'll probably spend 30 or 45 minutes just doing this, going through the book with the satellite images and getting a plan for tee shots. The practice round, my game plan for the practice round is to play it, err on the side of aggressive if I'm in between clubs. I like to do that in practice rounds off the tee, just to see, if let's say I hit a driver, if it's going to be like driver or mini driver, hit the driver in the practice round and just see how narrow it gets, see if I can get to the trouble, walk up there, and it's always easier in the actual round to hit less club and be, into a safer spot, knowing that it's there versus, it's kind of tough if let's say you hit a 3 iron and you think you could probably hit a driver. I like to hit the questionable ones, hit the driver that is, in the practice round. And then on the approaches, I'll play probably mostly just to wherever the flags are that day, but I'll be probably not putting out too much or wasting much time putting, grinding on those putts. I'll be looking more at the hole locations that they'll hopefully send us and marking off once again, any spots that are jail to that whole location. So down slopes, mounds, you know, in other words, where do I not want to be? So I'll make notes of that in the practice round. Trying to think of anything else that I had said in the other videos that added up to like 40 minutes, and it was just a lot of rambling. You know, today's the first day I've really dove into like the golf course that I'll be playing. I've been preparing for other events, you know, Lakewood, Colorado Golf Club, Harmony Club. So those have been taking my time. Like I said, always, I'm trying to just treat this week like any other. I mean, you know, I got a book for this week, which is something I do for bigger tournaments. This would certainly fall into that category. You know, planned out the logistics. So there's obviously more logistics than just getting in the car and driving to Lakewood or Fort Collins. So that kind of stuff takes a little more time. But as far as the golf prep, you know, I'm going to work on the new club this week, make sure it's comfortable. It worked awesome yesterday. I'm really excited about it. And, you know, I'm trying to think of anything else. Just kind of be ready for anything. I checked the weather. It's supposed to be pretty mild, like 70 degrees, maybe a chance of some thunderstorms, probably a little breezy. Nothing wild there. Don't have to like worry about it being super hot or super rainy. Obviously, I'll have all the stuff I need for those conditions just in case, but planning on just kind of being a normal-ish weather day. And figure I'll upload this to kind of summarize the last few weeks of preparation. As you guys know, I'm take some care in how I prepare and how I think about, you know, like where I'm going to go, what would fit my game the best. You know, if there was one area, I made this comment in one of the other videos I already shot. Tee shots have generally been strong point. Putting has been totally fine. Short game's been totally fine. My approaches have been a little shaky. It's not like I'm hitting that many bad ones, just enough, you know, one or two bad ones around, misjudged, wrong club, stuff like that. And the greens at Pronghorn are definitely bigger than Olympic. That was another reason I made the switch, is because, you know, bigger greens lend themselves to, you can be a little less accurate on your approaches. Course is going to be long, 75, 50 from the tips. It's just long, and especially it's after looking at it this morning, it doesn't look like I can really hit that many actual drivers. It's going to be like a ton of these mini drivers, which, you know, I'm sure there'll be some drivers in there depending on the wind. You know, you might get it onto a hole where you need to hit it 320 and it's into the wind or it's uphill. So there'll be some drivers for sure, but it's not just like send it all over the place. It's a lot of just hit just short of the bottleneck and then, you know, hit some kind of a shortish mid-iron in is what it looks like. So that's kind of where I'll be spending my practice time. And then around the greens, it's all really tightly mown. So if I have a chance to get outside, I'll probably go find the shortest grass I can, just make sure I'm, you know, hitting those shots good. But other than that, expect firm, fast greens, tough hole locations. I expect the golf course, they like to set these up real hard. I expect to be playing really tough, you know. From a nerves standpoint, I mean, it's 36 holes. I'll be nervous just like any other event on the first hole, and probably won't be too crazy nervous during the round unless I find myself in contention coming down the stretch, which I hope I'm in that scenario. If I'm not, that's okay. You know, if you go out and you shoot like 77 the first round, you're probably out of it, or 75 the first round, you're probably out of it. And my goal is just to then, you know, just enjoy the second round. If that happens to be the case, I don't like to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm just gonna enjoy the day, and you know, hope I can get into a situation where I'm feeling some nerves on the, you know, the second round, the back nine coming down the stretch. I've been so far doing fine under those kind of conditions, and look forward to hopefully being in that situation. But you never know, you know, it might not go your way, or it might. So that's where I'm at. I will send an update probably after this event. I'll probably make 2 or 3 videos of the, you know, on the way out or after the practice round or whatever, but just wanted to kind of summarize where I'm at. All right, quick mini update. Like, I was just getting ready to upload the last video to YouTube. Realized yesterday, I knew this going in yesterday at Harmony Club. The PGA, the Colorado PGA gets a certain amount of exemptions for the Colorado Open every single year. I think they get like 20-something, 22 or 23. And the Colorado Open is our biggest tournament in Colorado outside of maybe the Corn Ferry Tour event at TPC. Colorado Open's our state open. It's grown immensely over the years. They offer a $100,000 first place, and so that draws a pretty big and strong field. It's out of Green Valley Ranch. I've played it probably 10 times, maybe 12 times in the last 25 years. You know, some of the years I have qualified for it, some years I've been exempt for it. Played it as an amateur when I played for CU, and that was my first one. And haven't played it in a while. I had the driver demons really bad. If you had watched that video series, you'll understand. So I was not playing good golf for a long time. But anyway, the Colorado PGA, they give out, of those 25 or so exemptions that they get, they give out 17 to the previous year's top 17 on the points list, in which last year I think I finished 27th on the points list. This year I think I'm in the top 10, but not anywhere near first. Anyhow, the tournaments that I play in, the stroke play events, the ones that are pro only, there's like 4 of them in the early part of the year. Each one of those has one exemption to the Colorado Open for the lowest finishing player that's not already exempt from like the previous year. So just while I was getting ready to upload, I found out that yesterday's play, I finished 6th out at Harmony Club, and that earned me a spot in the Colorado Open, which is awesome. It's one of my favorite tournaments. The 5 people that finished ahead of me were already all exempt, so the spot went to me. So that's awesome. I was signed up for a qualifier in July to try to qualify for that event, and luckily now I'll have that day off to teach or do something fun, or who knows, maybe I'll even reschedule today's junior golf day to that day. Anyway, just thought I would send that since it just popped up. So that'll be the next big event that I'll be prepping for after this one, the Colorado Open. I'll have to look at the dates. It's like I think it's the last week of July, but I'm not going to do like a video series about that one, but just know, just wanted to share that since that was kind of a cool thing that happened like literally right after I shot the last video.